Today, Fun with Flowers and Jay is brought to you by Esprit Miami. Their flowers mean business.
Welcome to the world of flowers. I'm Jay Schwanke. I've spent my entire life surrounded by flowers. As a fourth-generation florist, flowers have been a part of my daily life for as long as I can remember. Now I'm on a mission to share my knowledge and love of flowers with everyone I meet. Growing, picking, arranging, designing, and sharing. It's all fascinating to me because I love flowers. Anything flowers and everything flowers. Welcome to Fun with Flowers and Jay. Today on Fun with Flowers and Jay, we're creating a composite flower out of premium calla lilies from Esprit Miami. So for this project, we're going to create a composite calla lily, taking all of these different blossoms and forming them into one giant blossom. These beautiful premium calla lilies from Esprit Miami are going to be part of what we create. They come packaged in a bunch of 5. The cellophane is wrapped around the outside. They've used Scotch tape and a calla leaf to cradle the blossoms. So the easiest way to remove this is to cut the rubber band and then go through and just slice the layers of the cellophane. Now you want to be careful so you don't cut the calla lily stems themselves. And each one has an individual layer, and then the Scotch tape just comes off in one piece. So a composite flower is when we take one flower and add additional petals from another flower to create a larger flower. One of the most popular in Victorian times was the Duchess rose. They would wire and add petals around a rose blossom to make an even larger blossom. In the 60s and 70s, they made glamelias and took glad blossoms to create a larger blossom that looked like a camellia. With our composite today, we'll be using a calla lily as the center and adding other calla lilies around it to create a dramatic impact flower. Our first step is to choose the perfect calla lily. So we'll go through and look. This one has a great sturdy stem. It's got a great little spadix, and everything looks wonderful about it. So that'll be perfect for our center blossom. Our first step is to do a crosswire process. So we're just going to stabilize the stem by placing a wire directly through the stem and folding it down on either side. We'll come in an opposite direction and send a wire through again, and then fold those wires down. Those 4 wires are going to help stabilize this stem. We'll use a little bit of floral tape to cover the florist wire and attach it to the stems. Simply wrapping it around the outside ensures that it's going to stabilize the stem and remain affixed next to the stem itself. I'm going to tape all the way to the bottom of the wires themselves, so that the sharp ends are concealed tightly against the stem. Now I can actually cut this a little bit shorter, so it's going to be a little bit easier to manage. And we'll reserve this as our center blossom. The next step is to go through our callas. What we're going to do is we're going to cut those off right here with our Swiss Army knife. And what that does is it allows us to open up the calla lily blossom itself and remove the spadix on the inside. We're going to do that with these callas so that we can add those callas around the outside of this blossom and create a large flower. So we've used about 2 dozen total. And now we'll just make sure that we've got all of the spadexes removed. We'll take the calla blossoms and just lay them out on the table face down. That helps open up those blossoms and will make it easier for us to adhere them to the outside of the other blossom. Each one of these flowers is going to become a petal for our composite flower. I'm also looking at size as we go along. You'll notice that I have bigger ones and smaller ones. The bigger ones will go towards the outside, the smaller ones will go towards the inside. So picking and choosing size now is really important because again, the bigger ones like this need to go on the outside and smaller ones like this need to go towards the interior. We're going to connect these directly to that blossom using cold adhesive. This is a special floral adhesive that's similar to rubber cement. It's great because it allows us to attach fresh product like this to other fresh product. I would never use hot glue in this situation because the hot glue itself could be damaging to the flowers. This cold glue works perfectly. So what we'll do is we'll apply glue to the outside of our interior flower, the flower that's going to be the center of our composite cauliflower. We're putting a good coating of the glue on the outside. I just let it hang off the table. Just like rubber cement, I want to make sure that it sits for a few minutes so that it starts to get tacky. We'll start with our smallest one. We're going to add a little bit of that glue on the inside of this as well. Again, allowing those two surfaces to get tacky, and we don't want it to roll shut on itself. So we'll hold it open and wait for that to dry slightly. We're going to start with this one and go on the opposite side. So we've created a double calla blossom. The next part's easy. We're just going to continue to do that with all of these petals, increasing the size and shape of the composite calla. We'll apply the glue to the outside of the next one and just keep adding. So the back looks like this. We've got all of those calla lilies around the center of our reinforced stem. Now, we'll add aspidistra leaves to the outside to help support the entire blossom. This will also help us conceal our mechanics. And reinforce our stem. We'll use one bunch of the cast iron leaves all the way around. Forms a great collar. We use some craft covered wire to attach that. We'll start with the craft covered wire running down the stems. And then we'll wrap it around the top of the stems. When we get to the end, we can twist the wires together, and that will hold it in place. Trim these up. And even up our Calla Lily stem. Our final step is to coat it with Chrysal Professional Glory. This is an anti-transparent that actually seals the molecular structure of the flower, helping it maintain its moisture inside. We'll spray it front and back. It's going to dry to a dull finish, so once it's dry, it'll have a very natural appearance. But that's going to help it last about 26% longer. Because the petals themselves have a high water content, this would be perfect for a bride to carry on her special day. Until next week, keep having fun with flowers.